There we go.
There you go.
Hey, Rob, how are you?
Yeah, James, there you go, mate.
Yeah, good. Nice haircut.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, appreciate it. I went to a lot of effort to get it done just for you.
You had a shave. Just for
I
you.
know. Well, so did I.
Yeah.
I ran out once I got the ear, but
Hey, how'd you get a haircut when you're in lockdown?
I got shears.
Oh,
I don't do too bad,
oh good. Anyway, we just thought we'd g'day guys, everyone out there watching. G'day, James here from Alpha Gear and Rob Gallina, one of our Maxtoch and Alpha Gear ambassadors, and we just thought we'd have a yarn, have a chat. We're both stuck in lockdown, so might as well spend the afternoon having a yarn, haven't we?
Oh, mate, why not? Why not?
Yeah, so anyway, we just thought, so on the hunting side, Rob and I know each other through hunting. We met a few years back and went out for a shoot, and we've been out shooting
Ever since?
A lot, since then. So, but very different backgrounds in our hunting world, I suppose.
Mm.
So how long have you been shooting, Rob, or hunting as such?
I'd say hunting, as in like for dad. I guess Dad taught us when we were kids. So, truth, what was I? So around about 6 years old. I think we grew up on a farm and we were out shooting like ducks and stuff like that when we were kids. But yeah, so since I was 7. So what's that? 38 years. Oh,
38 years.
So I've been using the gun for 38 years, mate. But hunting, as in like for sport and professionally, I would say I started my sports hunting when I was probably around about 16. I got hooked on it.
Yeah. Nice.
So yeah, it's been quite a while.
Yeah.
A hell of a long time already.
And how long you been? And you obviously love that hunting to the extent that you do it as a profession. When did you first start contract shooting?
Well, contract shooting I first started probably in my early 20s.
Oh, yeah.
Early 20s, and I did it all on the side because I started to be a builder. I got my builder's license and everything, but we're always out in the bush and doing stuff. So I started contracting shooting to farmers way back then. Oh, nice. But it wasn't for harvesting or anything like that. I was literally just going out and culling.
Yeah.
Because of the numbers, the sheer numbers.
Yeah. So
back in the early when I was in the early 20s, so it would have been, I'd say 21, 22, so it would have been 23 years ago.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm starting to show my age now, aren't I?
that was the polite way of asking you, hey, Rob, how old are you?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to calculate that one now.
Yeah, no, not today.
No.
So yeah, probably similar to myself. I think I started hunting when I was a young fella as well, shooting rabbits and goats, and then just didn't stop because it's too much fun and enjoyable. And you'll be real similar to me. It's a fantastic meat source for the family, ain't it? So.
Well, see, that's how we grew up. Like Mum and Dad being European, right? Like Italians, they literally everything like wild game that we turn around and call feral animals here, like they used to love it. And that's what they grew up on overseas. So for us, it was more of a sustainability side of things. It was like the real hunter-gatherer thing, same as what you guys did in New Zealand, obviously. So it was, you go out, you shoot what you're actually going to eat. So that's how we learned from Dad. Yeah. But yeah, like it's just a good lifestyle. I reckon it's a good lifestyle. It's good to get fit. It's good to teach your kids how to live off the land. Yeah. And, you're getting an amazing meat product.
Yeah. And I think that's probably why we haven't known each other that long, really, but we've become pretty good mates pretty quick. And it's probably real similar background and real similar, I suppose, ethos for our hunting, and that it's you're shooting to, provide meat for the family and friends, and we're definitely the same back at home. And I remember once we went out, me and a mate went out as young fellas and we shot a few goats, and we only brought back a few back legs, and the old man wasn't too happy about it. He was like, what a waste, and we got sent back out to go and recover the rest for the dogs. But,
imagine doing that today with the price of goats.
Oh yeah.
No way, mate. No way. I see every goat that we get, mate. Bring it home, curry, oven, bait, roast, the whole lot. Don't care.
Yeah. I must say though, one thing that I've definitely learned coming over here is what we, in New Zealand, it's hunting and eating wild games, just part of the culture. But the way you guys cook it over here, mate, is unreal. I've learned a fair few things in the last few years of your cooking, isn't it?
Yeah, we actually use a lot of flavour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're simple folk.
Hey, mate, listen, you've become a great chef, I heard, using the game on rub, so it's great.
Oh, it's one thing that has improved my cooking is the old game on rub, so I won't complain of that. I don't tell people it's game on rub. I just chucked a few things on it as well.
Yeah, no, I got a few people that are actually buying the rub nowadays going, mate, I'll tell you what, I got complimented on my cooking. Mate, thanks to you. I go, did you tell them that it was my rub? And they go, nah, we told them that we made it. I thought, mongrels. But it's good. But mate, look, for me, the fact of going out in the bush and actually, and you are like me, like we're very, very similar in that respect. Like you respect the animals that we're shooting and we go out there, we kill them, we take as much as we possibly can back if we can get to them if they're not cliffs.
Yes, yeah, we have lost a couple.
We lost a couple.
A bit steep, but so can you remember your what's your favourite animal to hunt? Hunting wise.
Oh,
it's a big question.
Favourite animal to hunt. Now we're going to go. Are we talking favourite or most fun that I have when I shoot? There's a difference because I got two different things.
Oh, tell us about both.
Okay, so my most fun thing to shoot are rabbits.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing better than going out for the old, the humble little rabbit.
Yeah.
That when you like, and you know me, mate, it's a headshot all the time. But you see them cartwheeling and flipping over and doing it. It's the most fun. I think we were down at Royalla one night, and we were shooting the rabbits, and I don't think we've laughed so hard in God knows how long.
We had a good George was, though.
Huh?
We had a good rabbit stew at the end of it all, though.
Oh, it was delish. Yeah. Absolutely delicious. But I've got to say, probably the most challenging and my best game that I like to hunt would have to be red deer.
Red deer, yeah.
Yeah, red deer is probably my all-time favourite and my ultimate animal to hunt.
Yeah, nice.
They're just, for a big animal, it's unlike sambar. Sambar are like, they'll just drop down. They get dead quiet. As soon as you go past them, they'll honk and take off. Red deer aren't. Like, you really got to work your ass off to get a good red.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have the mountain ranges like you guys do. Well, sorry, you guys have got hills. We got mountains, remember? We don't have those steep alpine mountains like you guys do, right? Like Victoria, we do down in Vic.
Yeah.
But when you're chasing a red through scrub, that bugger can hear you a mile away.
Yeah.
And he's just so cunning. He knows his surrounds. Unlike fallow and chittle and everything else, like reds are probably the hardest. I'd say that's what makes it my most favourite game animal.
Yeah, I love that when you're hunting red in the raw, and just that when they roar and they're coming in close, just that the way it just reverberates through your body.
It just gives you tingles up your spine, your hair goes on end.
So this thing's huge, and then sometimes it comes out, it's not very big at all. But
mate, I'm thinking about that one. I think me and you spoke about this on the last trip. Like that red, like I roared him in, like roared it, and all of a sudden I had no idea. Didn't even know, but he may have been like 10 metres behind me. He'd come in straight behind and just felt this roar, and I just get the tingles. And every time you just think about it, I don't know if you do, you just get that tingle up your spine. And I've got goosebumps right now just thinking of it. It's just an amazing sensation, amazing feeling.
Yeah, I remember taking my young fella out hunting, and it was his first hunt in the raw for reds.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, is that one, Dad?" I said, "No, that's not one. You'll know when you hear it." And he's like, "Oh," and we were out the back of a station in New Zealand, and it's a bull farm, so there's bulls honking all over the show. And anyway, and then about right on dusk, this red just roared, and it was reasonably close. We couldn't see it, but my young fella just looks at me and I said, "Now you've heard one." But I do love hunting reds, and I've had the privilege of hunting on some great properties and shot some great reds. But I'd have to say my favourite would be Seeker.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're just real cunning, and me and a mate, me and a few mates went into a spot a few years in a row chasing Seeker down home, and I managed to bag a real nice 8-point Seeker one year, but it took us an hour and a half, I think, to rule that guy in to when we first heard him to take in the shot. But it's almost like they start stalking you. They sort of just start circling.
Yeah.
And they really start working the wind. So you've really got to be watching that wind the whole time. And I suppose it's similar to what you said about the Reds. It's just that challenge of bringing it in and getting that. Yeah. Ended up coming right. I think when I pulled the trigger on it, he was like 20 yards away in thick scrub. He came up behind us. Me and my mate were sitting there watching out what we thought was where he was going to come from. And suddenly he just let rip from right behind us. And I jumped up, spun around, and I still remember it to this day. He's got his head half down and he's just coming straight at us. It was just a reaction shot. Just pull the trigger, boom, oh, flip. So
it's an amazing feeling when you, what was it, COVID last year when I went up to out Jindabyne, that property that we go to. I think for me, hunting is basically, it's not just a stalk. I mean, and that property there's got thousands of deer all over it, right?
Yeah, probably.
Up in those mountains. But I think it was just like when I was going through, I was on my own, literally just walked those mountains, like up and down the ranges, right up the back, and then come back.
Mm.
Like I went past probably, I reckon, a good 19 stags.
Yeah. Yes,
and croaked them in and did everything. But like that one deer, it's not, a lot of people will go, oh, it's got the biggest palms, it's got like heaps of, it's got the brow tines, it wasn't that. It was just, when you see a deer, like he was just so majestic, he was beautiful. Like he's got a good rack on him, obviously, but it was a color. It was a work that I put in to actually get that one there.
Yeah.
That made it more that effort. It was just, it makes you turn around and go, well, mate, that was all worth it. But then I kind of regretted it when I had to carry the head, the back straps, the legs, and everything back another 3 Ks back. So it kind of kills you when you're hiking out on your own. But I think everyone gets a conception of, and it's a conception of people thinking on the negative side of things, where they just go, oh, these guys go out there and they just kill things, just for the fun of it. It's not. It's respecting that animal. I could have shot, like I said, 19 stags that time.
Yeah.
And they'll only move, 50 to 100 meters away. By that time, I've already popped them off. Yeah. But it's respecting the environment, respecting the animal, and then you're only taking, like I said, you can only take out what we hump out.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is great, because at the end of the day, you just turn and go, I put in the legwork, I've done this, I respected the animal, it was a quick, clean kill, and I'm utilising the whole thing.
Yeah, and the quality of meat that comes off wild deer especially is just unreal. That venison, it's just nice and clean, it's real lean. And
it's not like farm deer. Farm deer doesn't have that same taste. It doesn't have that real venison. It doesn't have that rich flavour at all. It doesn't.
And if bled right, obviously you don't get that gamey flavour as well, which is a lot of people straight away associate wild game with gamey flavour, and it's a really, well, it's wrong, really, isn't it? It's a misconception.
Yeah. It all comes down to the preparation. I mean, we've been doing it. I mean, you've been on those game harvesting tours with me where we've been teaching people. And like we've had professional deer shooters come up, like guys that have been shooting forever, and they even said it, like the flavour of the meat that you guys are getting just by showing us these little pointers is unbelievable. Like it's a complete different flavour. You wouldn't think that you're actually eating game meat.
Yeah, exactly.
As such, we had a barbecue yesterday, and my client and the guys who were shotcreting the swimming pool, I cooked up some chops. Some venison chops, some deer chops, and that was from a fellow, and that was a big buck.
Oh yeah.
And they literally just said, like, you wouldn't even think that this was deer.
Yeah.
Like they were expecting, especially the Kiwi boys, they were expecting that real gaminess in that meat, and they just sat there and went, man, like we can't believe how tender it is. Number one, and number two, like it doesn't have that real what we're used to, that real gaminess in the meat. I'm like, well, there's a difference between harvesting at the right time and then cleaning them out, like getting the guts out as fast as you can. So all that gas and stuff doesn't go into the actual meat itself.
Yeah, we could probably do another whole show on prepping the game and bleeding.
Oh, mate.
So much into it. But over all the years, obviously you've shot a fair few rifles, I'd say, in your time, Rob, and let's just leave what we're shooting behind, because I know there's rules and regulations differ throughout Australia in it. But what's your favourite calibre other than 308? Because I know you love the 308.
My favourite military round, I must say, is my 308. I love it. My favourite all-time calibre, oh, mate, I'd have to go the 243. I'd have to go me 243, mate. I've loaded that bad boy up and down, so I can load it up for Samba. Yep. Well, I've shot camel and donkey with it, which are two of the hardest things to drop. Siphon buffalo, but I've loaded it down literally to a varmint round, and like with a 58 grain VMAX, and that thing there is just it's a hyper velocity, so that thing is just flying, and it's dead flat out to about 350, 400 meters. But no, I love me 243. Close. What comes close is that little 17 Hornet that you've seen, mate. But 243 is definitely my favourite all-time calibre.
Yeah, I had a funny feeling you were going to say that.
Yeah. It's kind of my go-to gun when we're out the bush.
Yeah, it's the only one you sort of take, really.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But look, I mean, it's a phenomenal calibre. It's good for small game. It's good for big game. As you know, I mean, I've proven to a lot of people in the past, it's all bullet placement.
Yeah, I was going to say that a lot of it comes down. People have these massive arguments about calibers for shooting certain animals, but in a day, if you're not going to put the bullet where it needs to be, regardless, you're not going to do the job quick and humanely.
Exactly right. Exactly right. I mean, look, I'm happy to say it. Like, I've shot fellow deers with a 22 subsonic round.
Yeah,
and it's drops them straight away. I mean, you've been with me when I've used a 17.
Yeah, that was impressive. That 17 dropped it.
And that was a nice big stag too.
Yeah. So,
but this is what I'm saying. So I've shot wild dogs with a 17 out to 300 meters with a 17 Hornet. And if you go by the rules and regulations when it comes to shooting deer, I think the smallest caliber is a 270.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, New South Wales.
In New South Wales, yep, in New South Wales. Every state has its own regulations and laws. Well, when I did my kangaroo harvester's license and everything like that, you got to do an accreditation for accuracy and for safe handling and animal welfare. And mate, there are guys there that couldn't hit the side of a bloody bus, and I'm talking about with a shotgun.
Yeah.
But regulations, like the guy turned around to me and said, he goes, you're not allowed to shoot a kangaroo with anything less than a 223.
Yeah.
To me personally, mate, I've shot roos out to 150 meters with stingers in the 22.
Yeah, and as you said, it's all about that shot placement for a quick and ethical kill, and regardless of what caliber you're using, you need to put the bullet in the right place to do the job. And
well, look, I think the caliber. The reason why they put those laws in place and those regulations in place is for people that are new to the actual to the shooting and to the hunting scene.
Yep.
There are a lot of guys out there that are going to go for a heart and lung shot. They're not always going to go for the head like the way I do. Reasons being is that it's hard to hit something as big as your fist at 200 to 300 meters away.
Yep.
Center mass is, it's a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're using a small caliber, you hit something in the side, in the lung or whatever, you're just going to maim it. The animal's going to go, it's going to suffer. Whereas you use something like a 30 cal or a 270 or a 257 Roberts or something like that, then you've got enough punch to, like, once it hits that lung or heart area, it's going to literally, the animal's not going to go very far.
And I suppose that's the difference when you, for yourself as a contract shooter, and you've been doing it for a long time now. So roughly how many, like when you're out shooting roos contract-wise, how many would you be shooting a night on a good night?
Oh, on a good night, if I'm not harvesting, I'll probably, you can probably drop around about 130 to 170.
Yeah, so that's some pretty good target practice right there, isn't it? You're going to get good at your trade fast.
Oh, yeah.
If you're doing
it's just like, pretty much. It's pretty much like any industry, but
yeah, if
like a butcher's great with knives.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not going to stuff up a little thing. You know what I mean? A carpenter's not going to miss a nail. Well, actually, I know a lot of carpenters, they miss a lot of nails, but, but it's practicing that constant thing. But a lot of guys come into the misconception of bench shooting.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, people will go, they'll hit paper all the time, they'll hit paper all the time, they'll hit paper all the time. There's a massive difference from hitting paper to being in an upright post and shooting something freehand, or sitting on a tree, and yourself, like when you're on a tree, yes, it's stable, but you're still a bit wobbly. You got the bipods, like you got that great stick that you use.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I mean, you use something like that, there's your accuracy is improved by 100%.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of guys that are still used to sitting on a bench, and they're tuned up with their eye on a bench with that right angle. You get them out in the field, and they honestly they can't hit a side of a bus, and it's no disrespect to them. It's just that that's the way they learn.
Yeah, they're training for something in a different environment to what they're practicing in, really, aren't they? So,
exactly right.
I'm not a huge fan of going to ranges and shooting paper. I do it every now and then to check a zero, or when I've first mounted a scope or something like that. But it's not I'd rather just go into a paddock and find a rock at a distance and put a couple of rounds into that to see how I'm going, to be honest, than anything else. But yeah,
no, it's a complete different situation. It's not only that. I mean, and you know it yourself. Like when you're out in the elements, you got hills, you got swales, you got big valleys, and that air pressure and everything. Like it does play a massive difference on your accuracy.
Yeah, angle of shot.
Like you could have been bench shooting on a table, like shooting at 380 meters. Like when we were shooting at those goats through a valley.
Yeah.
Seriously, like it does play a different thing. Like you would have hit that paper target constantly. I mean, we miss that goat.
Yeah.
I've done it on many occasions myself.
And I'm not misjudging.
I'm not always perfect. Shit, they even got me on frigging TV, so missing a frigging kangaroo. But
that was quite amusing for the rest of us, by the way.
Yeah, well, it's great for you guys. I did get phone calls straight away from you guys. Hey, one time in my life, just one.
Oh, he says proof.
Oh, come on. But no, look, there's a lot of factors that come to being at a range compared to being in the field. Like there's so many different variables. A lot of, and this is where I say a lot of people are not in tune with the environment. They're not in tune with, elevational shots and all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot that goes into it that people just don't understand. So choosing the caliber and getting back to the caliber, I mean, this is where I think I'm going with it, is if you're out in the scrub and, depending on where you are, like if you're in the mountains, me personally, I'd rather take a heavier caliber rather than a light caliber. Light caliber, your bullet's going to drift a lot through your wind and atmospheric pressure. Whereas your heavy projectile, like you were using your 300 Win Mag, I had the 17 shooting at 200 meters. Like I'm 250 mil out and you're hitting nearly dead on. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of factors go into it, like choosing the right caliber, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, 243, mate, all the way, definitely.
Yeah, I had a funny feeling you'd say that.
Yeah, definitely.
Other than your 243, what's your number one piece of kit that you take when you're going to head out bush, other than your rifle and your ammo?
I'd say the 17 Hornet. Oh, actually, no, I am lying. I'll take the 300.
No. Other than rifles.
Oh, other than rifles, okay.
Yep.
I'll take me. Once upon a time, I used to bring a boning knife. A skinning knife with a gut hook on it. Nowadays, it's just a boning knife.
Yeah.
Just a lot more quicker. I've proved that to everybody. It's a lot more quicker and efficient to eviscerate your animals and get them ready and cape them out.
Yeah.
So that, you buy, well, your binos especially. I used to use other binos and stuff like that. So I got your binos that I'm using. Mate, and probably the number one thing I would tell anybody to bring is a first aid kit.
Yeah, nice. Yep.
First aid kit and water. They're the two main things. My third most important thing would be making sure that I got a lighter. Because if you ever get stuck out in the bush overnight and it gets dark of a night time, mate, I've many a time slept out there and just started a little fire just to stay warm.
Yeah, nice. You mentioned the old boning knife. I think over the years I've the same. I've owned heaps of knives and I've just gone back to the old 5-inch Victorian boning knife, and you know you can do just about everything with that and skin an animal out, whatever. But you know people spend a lot of money on knives, and it's just like actually just that nice, quick, easy Victorinox just does the job, and it's cheap. If you lose it, you don't really care. You're just going to get another one.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, I've got those fantastic knives that Mo gave me.
Yes, yeah.
Those beautiful skinny knives. I mean, the things are worth a fortune.
Yeah.
Great, heavy blades, everything, but it's just by the time you put a nick in it, you pull down with the hook, and you know you go through it. Yes, if you want to keep the hide, they're fantastic. Don't get me wrong, like they're a phenomenal bit of gear. Like a good skinning knife is worth its weight in gold.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess when it comes to the rut, if I'm going out in the rut, like I mean, my main kit would be, like I said, I'd have my knife's number one. Then I'd have my first aid kit. I'd have a lighter in there, plenty of water.
Yeah.
Number one, to wash your hands in that if you've killed something and skinned it. Number two is stay hydrated.
Yeah.
And some twine. Twine's probably the best thing because you can at least hang meat and it like carry things out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but no, a good skinning knife's worth its weight in gold if you're caping out an animal.
Yeah.
And you really want to keep a good skin. But otherwise, boning knife all the way, straight away.
I've gone the same over the years, ditched all the fancy ones and stuck with that boning knife. So.
Yeah. But I think the key thing is if you're going to spend a day out in the bush, I think the main thing you need, like in your backpack, would be like go as light as you can and take only the necessary stuff, which is your water, which is your first aid kit, which is your knife, your twine, but something light to eat. So maybe some jerky or some dried fruit.
Yeah.
Me, I love it. Tin of baked beans gives me energy, gives me everything, and a target just to make sure the gun's shooting straight. And worst comes to worst, you use a tin as a water. If you run out of water, you can just scoop water out with a tin.
Yeah.
So I guess they're the most important things for me.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, that's it. What about you? What's your idea?
Oh, my number one thing, obviously, knife's always there. Probably a good set of boots, to be honest. Yeah. Over the years, I've really learned to enjoy a good set of boots. I've had some crap sets of boots over the years, and thanks to the army, they were pretty good at giving us some rubbish boots and stuff there. But I must say that improved dramatically, and I managed to score a few good pairs of boots out of the army before I left. But yeah, a good pair. I personally like the old Salomons, and a good set of boots, I think, can make your life a lot easier when you're out on the hills.
Yeah, absolutely.
And probably for me is just that good layer of clothing against the skin. It's a bit different here in Aussie, obviously, because it doesn't get as cold as quick. You can sort of guess your climate a little bit better. But that weather change back home in New Zealand used to change pretty quick, and you always have to have something out there to keep you dry and warm. But
yeah. Oh, I agree with you on that 100%. Yeah.
I think learning that layering of clothing, I think, is an important thing for hunters, and a lot of people go, "What are you talking about?" But I've probably got.
It all comes down to the prep. It comes to preparation. I think it comes down to preparation, knowing the environment that you're going into, like checking the weather forecast. I mean, we all know the weather changes freaking shitload. I mean, we've been at Jindabyne where it was like it was 23 degrees, and then all of a sudden the temperature just plummeted down to like 9.
Yes. Yeah.
And you put the wind chill into it, and it's just like, yeah, okay, we're in the minus degrees here, and I'm still just wearing a flannel like I'm doing now, and you're freezing your bollocks off.
Can't beat a flannel though.
No, you can't. No, and especially these ones, mate. The old Kiwi Swan Dry.
Yeah. I've found over the years, I probably carry less and less these days, though. I've been on day hunts, just with a rifle and a knife.
Yeah. No, well, you do, but that's the thing. And I think it all comes down to preparation as well. Like a lot of guys think that they can just pick up and go out, like we did a few weeks ago, going up for the goats.
Yeah.
A lot of guys think they can just, throw a backpack on, throw a gun on your shoulder, not having gone out in the bush for like 3 or 4 months and just go, oh, mate, this is going to be easy.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of training. It's a lot of training. Yeah. Like it's getting up, going for a walk, going for a run, like try and find hills to climb, like if in your time off and that. It really does take it out of you. It does. Like, mate, I've never seen you. You of all people, I've never seen you puff or even take a deep breath walking hills.
Yeah, I was sitting on my bum when COVID hasn't done me any favours.
That's what I'm saying. So I think that fitness level, preparing yourself to go out for those big stalks and going for those big walks and everything, it's a key element that you need to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I got to say, I'm pretty fortunate compared to a lot of people, mate. Like I go out. I mean, we're in an LGA where we don't have those sort of restrictions. We do now.
Yeah.
But beforehand, before lockdown actually came in, I was pretty lucky.
Yeah. So
I was heading out the bush. I was doing a lot of stuff, and I still kept myself fit in that respect, like mountain fit. But that's what a lot of people lack, and a lot of people when they get out in those environments, they're overdressing. They're carrying too much gear. They're not conditioned to those elements. This is the biggest thing.
And I think that's an interesting one. You say carrying too much gear. There's a big difference between going for a walk with the missus after work or something like that around town, or even through some little bush tracks. But then you chuck 10, 15 kilos on your back, and it makes a big, big difference.
Mate, get them to piggyback their missus.
So, yeah, whatever you got to do to get fit. I noticed that I've done a fair bit of pack walking over the years, and then I did that 24-hour challenge. Start of this year. No,
start of this year. Yeah.
Start of this year. So 24 hours of 24 kilos on my back, and even getting back into a bit of training for that was it was a bit of a wake up call for the body. But saying that, I went for a walk up to some hills hunting after that, and it was like easy. So, but when you're fit, when you're sucking in the air and you're blowing your piece walking up a hill, that's when you're going to slip. That's when you're going to fall. That's when you're probably going to hurt yourself. And so it is. I think it's a key point that you bring up here, Rob.
And there's different sorts of fitness. So guys that might listen to this might turn and go, oh yeah, I'm pretty fit. I do my sport and this and that. It's a different sort of fitness.
Yeah, and even those gym boys are in the gym all the time, and
it's completely different. Completely different, because they're not used to walking on unstable terrains, number one. Then that's a big thing. That's where footwear really comes in. You need something with good ankle supports. Yeah. And then your clothing, I mean, you wear something too heavy, you're going to sweat, you're going to, you dehydrate a lot faster, everything else. You wear something light, then you're freezing, and, you do make mistakes because you're cold, you want to move faster, but you can't move like super quick up on those hills. Like, hurry up, mate. We're not goats. We've seen what those goats could do.
Oh, yeah.
But even deer, like even in undulating mountains, like what we do out at Moonbar and Reed's Plains and all that sort of stuff, like it's different. Like those deers, like they're mountain deers, like we don't move like them. Our bodies overheat a lot faster than those animals. So it's about preparing yourself to the conditions that you're actually going to go hunt. So there's a lot that
you do as well, I suppose.
Yeah. Depends on what you're doing. I mean, nowadays I like my type of hunting is like sitting in the car.
Driving out.
It's my favourite type of hunting.
It's lucky I gave you a good spotlight, mate. Otherwise, you'd be stuck.
And I'll tell you what. If you did not give me those spotlights, I wouldn't be hitting animals at 600 meters away. That's for sure. Yeah. I love it because I don't need to travel. I don't need to walk. I just shine the light. 600 meters. Yep. Boom. Done. Beautiful. Got it.
Done. No.
But no, it's
all good. I think that's the one thing I love about hunting is it's not just one thing. There's lots of things to consider and to do, and there's always something you can improve on, and there's always something you can learn. I think that's one thing I love about hunting and is sitting around the fire at the end of the day and just yarning and talking to each other and sharing stories and you can learn so much from that, and it's just good fun too. It's good for the mental health.
Oh, mate, I'll tell you what. Like we went out at Easter that time, and as great as it was to go out for the hunt, I think the most fun we had for the whole trip was just sitting by the campfire, chewing the fat, and just mucking around. And you put shit on each other and tell stories, and some of them are the truth is that big, some of them the truth is like that far away from each other. Like it's that. Yeah. Like listening to some of the stories that we all tell each other is just sometimes you sit there and go, it sounds a bit far-fetched, but you know what? I'm just going to listen to it. It's all good.
It's all even good. Funnier when you're sitting there listening to a story that you were there as well and go, I don't remember this.
Yeah.
Not quite like that happened.
And it's like, hey, Rob, you remember, don't you? And it's like, yeah, of course I do.
No, not at all.
When was it? I don't remember. I don't even think I was there. Oh, yeah, you were. Yeah, all right, okay, cool.
Yeah, you can't beat that social side of hunting is just as rewarding and just as good for you, I think, as getting out there and shooting those animals. And putting
it is, and you're right. Like especially in times like now, like with what's going on with the COVID and everything else, right? And let's just forget about COVID. Just everybody has things in their own personal lives that they're battling with.
Yeah.
Getting out with a group of mates, going out in the bush, it doesn't matter whether you go out and shoot. I mean, me and you, we don't care if we shoot something, great. If we don't, I always bring meat regardless. We're going to eat.
Yeah.
But it's just when you got people there, like, and there are some people out there that don't get a chance to talk.
Yeah.
And when it's a bunch of guys that actually have the same thing in common, it's just great because everybody just vents. You have a great time doing it, but you just vent.
Yeah.
And it's, mentally, it's one of the best things you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. It's good for the head. I've been, my wife even tells me every now and then, I think you need to go for a trip. You need to go hunting.
Yeah.
She knows.
Like even tonight I was even going to spoil you and I was going to start a fire and sit by the fire while I was talking to you just to rub it in. But, that's what mates do, I guess.
A little bit romantic, but anyway.
Well, it was romantic for me, mate, not for you. But I was just trying to get the ambience going, I guess.
It's going.
But no, look, as a hunter, I think looking at it as a hunter's point of view rather than a professional's point of view, people have to look at the conservation side of things. I'm a big conservationist when it comes to my native animals.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone sits there and goes, "Oh, how can you be a conservationist if you shoot kangaroos?" I love the environment. I mean, you see the country that we go to, mate. It's just gorgeous country. I love the whole place.
Absolutely.
When you see what feral animals are doing to it, I mean, for me, yes, I don't like shooting and leaving animals just to rot away. I'll utilize as much as I can. I'll bring back as much as I can, even if it's for dog meat. I don't care. I don't like wasting animals. But a lot of people disrespect that, and even going through paddocks and chopping up paddocks and like just cutting new tracks through the bush and that. There's a lot of animals that actually call those places home.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff that people are doing that are doing it wrong, and then the guys that are doing it right go, "Well, Rob, we can't get on the properties." It's because of those people that have gone to those farmers and stuffed it up for the people after them.
I think it's really good about teaching the young fellas. We've both got kids and kids who love the outdoors and passing on that. This is not just to go out there and shoot the crap out of everything and rip all the paddocks up with a quad bike or whatever. This is about going out there and enjoying the outdoors, respecting the outdoors, and a bonus, you get to bring a bit of meat home, which is good quality food for the family. And yeah, I agree. You got to look after it, otherwise you're just going to ruin it for yourselves, aren't you? Or the next generation.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
My kids, even my daughters, they love getting out there, and they just love it. So yeah, it's an important.
Look, I mean, it's preservation at the end of the day.
Yeah,
we're utilising someone's property. They're allowing us to go there, take the spoils for us, which is a pest for them.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you've got to respect their property. It's their property. They're allowing you to go there. So for me, that's one of the key elements that I try to teach you, like our kids, and even when we're going doing our courses. I mean, a lot of guys think that they're just going on a farmer's property, they can do whatever the hell they want. No, well, you leave a place cleaner than what you found it, number one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Number two, if you have shot an animal and there's a carcass there, whatever's left over. Try drag it out in the bush. Don't leave it out in the middle, in the open. But the main thing is, if you are going to shoot animals, unless a farmer's turn around telling you drop as many as you can, drop what you're going to take home. Yeah, shoot what you're going to take home. Shoot what you can eat.
Yep.
And it's all about getting the best quality out of that meat as well. So don't rush your shots. A lot of people will rush your shots. I'll go for a hard shot. I'll shoot it in the bum or shoot it in the guts, and you've just spoiled the meat.
Yeah.
You've spoiled everything. So just take your time. That's the best thing I can advise anyone is when you go out there, practice first, then take your time, go out there. Just because you see an animal doesn't mean that it's actually seeing you. So just slow down, think of your surrounds, calculate everything that's going on, use your wind, use everything on all your elements. Just take your time with that shot, because the last thing you want to do is just shoot an animal, hit it in the lung, hit it low in the heart or on the side of the heart. It gets pumped full of adrenaline. The meat goes tough. There's nothing worse than eating like jerky before it's cooked. So, that's one of the biggest things for me is, and what I've taught my kids, and I mean, what I've taught other people, and that is just take your time. Look at that animal, slow down your breathing, just calculate your shot. Make sure that first shot that you take counts.
Yep.
Make sure it's quick.
Yeah, nice.
Lights out, animal doesn't suffer, and you get the best quality meat out of it.
Absolutely. And I think, anyway, we probably should wrap up there, Rob, but it's probably a good note to wrap up on. So
yeah, absolutely, man.
Thanks for your time, man. Good to yarn. Haven't seen each other in a little while, but good to catch up and have a yarn. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, we'll catch up soon.
Well, definitely, mate. And don't be a stranger. You got the number.
Yeah, not a problem. We'll give you a go.
I'll talk to you soon, champ. Have a good night.
Cheers, mate. Have a good one.